Hello and welcome to the THHL Off Friday podcast, where we're going to go in depth into the THHL happenings of the week. To start us off, we're going to go into a look at the standings recap for this week. We're 1 week into the season, so everything's kind of up in the air. Right now, Crash Line, 8-1-1 record, 17 points, tied with Lake Mohawk Moose. How do you feel about that, Moose?
I was just looking at my team. Mika what's his name? Zabinajad, ranked number 2, 100% rostered.
Number 2, that's pretty decent.
Artemi Panarin, ranked number 8, 100% rostered.
Also solid.
Connor McDavid, ranked 25th, rostered, 95%.
Well, that's ridiculous, but he's also played fewer games.
Man, you should look to make a trade.
No, I shouldn't. Because Connor McDavid is number 1 in the league right now. And in 4 games, he has 5 goals, 5 assists, 5 power play points, 17 shots, and 10 hits. So he's actually doing a lot more than either of those two guys on the Rangers. So Rangers not looking good last night against San Jose either. So that's another a thing to keep in mind. Crash Line, decent roster. Matthews, Hughes, Nichushkin, Schwartz, Fiala, Jesper Bratt. Little light on the defense. Uyghur, Pietrangelo, Dobson, Carlson, Podkolzin, Krug, Hurdle, Ottinger, and Quick. So he took Ottinger pretty early, and he's riding with Ottinger and Quick. So do you think you got him in goaltending at least? You got Shesterkin, so you probably have him.
For next week?
Do you have him next week?
Sorry, I let the dogs in.
The Crash Line. So next week, I got the Keyport Raiders. Crash Line plays Portland River Cats, so that'll be.
So Ottinger and Quick are his 2 goals.
Yes. So that's, I mean, Ottinger's definitely solid.
He is, but he's got a good coach for sure. And I know Ottinger had a great season last year.
How confident do you feel about Hart and Allen as your 2-3?
I wouldn't even consider Allen a part of my team. Confident? I never thought I would be this confident with Carter Hart, but right now, because of John Tortorella, I am confident.
And Zodiac Braves is in 4th place. His goaltending, Ullmark, Kemper, and Anderson. So it should be decent, but Kemper's off to a little bit of a rough start.
Capitals in general. They got a lot of injuries, a lot of long-term injuries with supporting players.
Yeah.
For their stars. So
and this is GM of the Lake Mohawk Moose. This is Moose Frontenac getting involved, trying to join the podcast a little bit.
Yeah.
Moose, what do you think of the trade proposal that you sent my way? Do you think that Zibanejad and Panarin for McDavid makes any sense? I don't agree with that. I think that's an old way of thinking. I think the league has changed from that. And I think, you have to adapt or die.
Yeah, no. And just like that, he's out. This Mr. Frontenac he doesn't listen. He does not listen. He does not choose to listen.
So then
this is what the Moose needed.
So they needed a little bit of a renegade spirit, I guess. Delaware River in 5th place. 13 points, 6-3-1. So he won his first matchup. Everybody in the top 5 won. Sterling Slapshot's right beneath him at 6th with a regular 500 record. Queens Peens right there with Rich at 5-5. And then you got Wolfish, Truckers, Toe Dragons, Keyport Raiders, and River Cats rounding out the bottom of the league. Any surprises there?
Well, honestly, it's the first week, so it's hard to say, but overall, I look at Wolfish and I'm like, okay, it's 1 week. Like I think he's hopefully pulling it together this year. I think that's a huge question mark this year. What is Wolfish? What are they? What are they?
Yeah, not
I
much.
think that's a huge thing, right?
Not much branding, corporate sponsorships. Not much attention to jersey or logo design. Although there is a unique logo there. No new fresh jersey updates or logo updates. A much better team on paper, but not.
8th place looks a lot better this year because we now have 2 more teams.
Yes.
So if you're in 8th place this year,
I mean, the roster looks pretty solid for Wolfish. A little bit of, I guess the goaltending is getting him right now with Campbell, Huso, and Sorokin. Forward group looks pretty good. Crosby, Zegras, Draisaitl, DeBrincat, Raymond, Terry, Hughes, Riley, Taves, Hannafin. So he's making some better decisions as far as player management and roster construction, but just need a little bit more consistency. It's just week 1. I understand that, but what do you think about Delaware River in 5th place? Is that within striking distance of what he's trying to accomplish?
So River, yeah, we'll get to River. Sorry, I just wanted to mention. I think Crosby's a great guy to have for the Wolfish. I think that's a solid guy to have this year because I think he is ready to make a statement after Nathan McKinnon bringing the cup through Halifax this year. So
that Penguins team looking good.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Penguins. And as much as being a Metro Division rival fan, very impressed with Sidney Crosby and the player he's turned out to be, and I do wonder how well he's going to do this year with the core that they kept around. So I will say that. Now, that's my heart-spilling comment for the night.
Not much of a hot take. Crosby's a pretty good player.
He's a pretty solid player and smart player. And adjusted his game over the years.
Never been an elite fantasy guy, except for the peak of his career, but not at this point. He's still like a second, third round pick.
Fantastic hockey player. Now, AC Delaware. You're asking.
Does this put him within striking distance of where he wants to be towards the top? Off to a decent start, 6-3-1, 13 points, 5th place, just a point ahead of Sterling Slapshots and Queens Peens.
Well, this is going to be my make or break with this guy because I'm like, I could have picked up Rottenen, and I decided not to because I struggled years ago with him.
So next week,
terrible.
Next week, Delaware River has Zodiac Braves, a 5-4 matchup. That's going to be a difficult matchup for Delaware, and that could make or break how the early part of his season shakes out in terms of. He's got to have Rantanen step up. He's got to have Timo Meier step up. Needs some contributions from the top guys. And he's got a couple injuries. Buchnevich, Bertuzzi, and Cam Talbot on the IR. So got to make it through these difficult parts of the season.
Tough losses.
Yeah, very tough.
Buchnevich, I had him last year, Buchnevich, and he was Buchnevich.
Buchnevich.
No, he was solid with. I mean, he was great with the Rangers, and it seems like he's almost better for the Blues, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, love him. He's got beignets, which is that's how you say it.
Yep.
Beignets, not the French way.
Beignet.
Jesus Christ, these days, huh? No, he's got a good lineup. Who is going to take this guy? Who is going to carry this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's missing the elite top end.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
Talent.
I don't see it. Even with the injuries, I don't see it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the defense is solid. The goaltending is okay. Could be a little bit better for the lack of offense, but he's going to need Rantanen to do a lot. And currently, Rantanen 13th, so not bad at all. Not shooting as much as you'd like, I guess. 2-3 shots a game. But that's going to be a difference maker for AC Delaware River. So let's look at the matchups for week 2 right now, currently going on. I'm up 6-2 on you. River Cats is up 6-3 in a 12th, 11th place matchup with the Keyport Red Raiders. So River Cats, if he can pull this out, that'll be a big win for this middling franchise. Any thoughts on River Cats trying to pick up a win here?
No, I could care less about the River Cats.
All right, we'll move on. And we got Delaware River and Crashline, very close matchup, 5-4. Crashline in first place, we'll remind you. Delaware River, 54 games played this week, so he's got the advantage there in terms of volume. Crashline coming back, he's got the goaltending advantage. And it looks like it's going to come down to the wire. There's a couple of categories that could swing. Goaltending is probably going to be the difference maker. Crashline, Ottinger, and Quick rolling with just 2. Delaware River also rolling with 2, Hellebuck and Merzlikins. So this is going to come down to the wire, and that could determine first place this week. Then you have Wolfish, 8th place, down 7-1 to Zodiac Braves. So another lackluster performance from the Wolfish in week 2 of the season. So he's not off to a great start thus far. Zodiac Braves coming back strong after what was a pretty decent season last year.
Well, and that's the thing too. If you look back, especially on which our host here, Kenneth Hunt, did a fantastic job of weekly updates towards the end of the year last year. Zodiac really took off.
He did have a great.
He took off. I think, from what I remember, we had quite, including because the Moose was involved in that as well. They were on the bubble. At best, they were on the bubble, and they made great progress. But it was Zodiac. It was, as well as Crashline, who
Both
really
of them,
made a huge run towards the end there. And you got to watch out for these guys. They're quiet, but they know the right time to step it up.
I would put Ottawa Truckers in that same conversation. He had great goaltending last year, came on strong towards the end, ended up.
But he had a great entire season. Sorry to cut you off, but
he did.
He was not a surprise. He was a surprise from the beginning.
Yeah.
You
Definitely
know?
solid from the start.
Yeah.
And now you've got Zodiac up 7-1 on Wolfish. Ottawa Truckers up 7-2 on Sterling Slapshots. So he's back to his old ways, Ottawa Truckers, getting the wins in. And if you look at his goaltending this year, completely different strategy. Samsonov, Georgiev, Thompson, all 1As on decent teams that should get him wins. Picks up McKinnon. Stamkos is doing wonders for him this week. 3 goals, 7 shots. Brady Tkachuk, Andrei Svechnikov with a hat trick this week. So Truckers definitely benefiting from a favorable bounce in terms of all of his players hitting it in the same week. Toe Dragons down 9-0 to Queens Peens. That's going to hurt. I beat Toe Dragons in week 1, 7-2, and now he's going down again, and it doesn't look very good in terms of his goaltending. 550 goals against average, 833 save percentage, and he's losing in every single category except for shutouts. So what do you make of his strategy, using the spreadsheets and now off to an 0-2 start?
Toe Dragons, I mean, I don't know, how long has he been in this league now? I think he's
5 years.
Geez, at least it's probably been, he might be an original.
Could be.
Which is crazy to think, because he's done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, just not a lot of success. Let's look at his manager record. So a .430 winning percentage, only 2 top 3 finishes, playing since 2008. Not necessarily in this league, but yeah, not the best record and never won a championship. So perhaps it's time to get on the data draft strategy and potentially look at some of the draft strategy videos for next season.
Yeah, I just don't see how these guys come around every year, and they just keep dishing out the money.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, you might want to invest the time and effort, and I'm not accusing
Maybe
people
not
of
give
not
up after
investing
week-
the time and effort. I'm just saying that
Why
for
give up after week 2?
yeah, it's very early in the season, so there is time to turn it around. But
fan and seeing your team give up after week 2, but as
Yeah.
a fantasy player, don't think like your team.
yeah, I typically stay away from my personal team, the Rangers. I don't like to double up on the agony and the anxiety. And Toe Dragons did grab Holtz, and he has since dropped him. So there goes that draft pick. Vanacek, not a great outing in his first start, but not terrible either. Could potentially bounce back if he gets a start this weekend. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movement going on in the league thus far, and that also applies for players and player movement as well. As we take a look at some of the waiver wire moves, Sterling Slapshot's adding Eric Comrie. I like that move. That's a decent pickup. What looks to be the Buffalo starter getting picked up by Rich, and Portland Rivercats picking up Andre Palat. And you were talking about that move earlier. What do you think of that move? Palat comes in, Kuzmenko goes out.
No, I think that's an easy move after a guy scores 2 goals.
So you think he's just watching the games and seeing how good Palat has been on that power play?
If we're lucky, Kamish was watching the game. My guess is he just saw that Palat scored 2 goals. Was like, oh, he must be fantastic. Which, hey, the Devils played fantastic last night. Palat looked he's looked pretty good in general the last few games. But I drafted Palat not as an extra pick right before I drafted Kevin Ball. Which, by the way, he looked fantastic last night, too. But I think it's just a reaction of a fan who is caught up in deciding what's fantasy and what's a fan.
And that's a problem that we've all had at different points in the past, trying to determine what you see on the ice versus what works in fantasy. And the Dawson Mercer move, that was a bold take, and he is getting shot volume. He's making some plays, but it's just not happening for him fantasy-wise. Now, you added Jake DeBrusk and dropped Riley Smith. So do you want to walk us through that one, or is that something you're going to keep close to the vest?
No, I can walk through it, and if someone wants to pick up Riley Smith, it's not a bad idea, because apparently he's playing a different position than... I can't remember if he's right wing or left wing.
He's playing left wing now.
So after 10 games or so, which is coming up, he might actually have eligibility to be a left wing and right wing, which might be beneficial, but
Is that what the cutoff is, 10 games?
I don't know. It's been rumored.
That's interesting. Because that they were going to potentially use Mitch Marner as a defenseman, but they'd need to do it for, I guess, 10 games. To have that work out. But
yeah, I have no idea.
And then, so DeBrusk comes in. What do you think of him?
DeBrusk is terrible, but he's had a strong year. The Bruins seem like a different team this year. I've liked their energy up front. And he's had good numbers, and I'm just looking for more gritty players with the potential of, yes, some points here and there, but also give me some shots, give me some hits. And I saw something different with him, but I also was okay with giving up Smith. I'm also kind of on the brink right now with goaltending. I have to figure out where I want to stand there. So I've been open to, I guess, adding and dropping a few players.
That makes sense. And that at this point in the season, you don't want to drop any of your core guys, but if you could drop a guy that you picked up in the 15th, 16th round, that works. So not a whole ton of other movement. Bjorkstrand goes to Delaware River. Toe Dragons picks up Jared McCann, drops Holtz, and we get a laugh react on that one. Keyport Raiders, a sneaky ad adding Gabe Velarde, dropping Sam Reinhart. Velarde's off to a pretty decent start.
Yeah, let's look that up. Let's look that file up. Access that file. Access it.
So 58th overall in the league. He's got goals in 4 of his 6 games this season. A couple multi-point, actually 3 multi-point efforts. Getting the shot volume as well. So 1, 2, 2, 5, 3, 1 in terms of shots. A couple hits and blocks thrown in there. So decent pickup for Keyport Raiders. A new addition to the league, and hopefully a little bit less shy in terms of the group chat and a little bit of the league personality. We're always looking for that here at THHL. But that'll do it for the waiver recap. And in terms of news and notes, we're going to just quickly go over a proposal I had for the league in terms of we need a last place trophy, not a trophy, but like a punishment for coming in last place in the league. I proposed that as a potential, to try to discourage tanking and trying to tank for the number 1 overall pick and whatnot. And then you came up with the idea of whoever comes in last becomes commissioner of the league. And I think that's very cruel and very fair. So where did you, are we stuck on that? Do we want to take other suggestions?
Yeah, I definitely think we should take other suggestions.
We'll open it up to the group, but I do like that off the bat.
I think it's going to be difficult because it's just, when you're what is it, 10 years now? 10 years of the same commission?
It's been 10 years.
As much as it's good to have change, like, it's almost like this guy's got secrets, right? That we don't know about. Like the Book of Secrets.
Yeah.
Commission Book of Secrets. And is he going to pass that on? We don't know.
Does he have dirt on people that he's
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
There's many Netflix documentaries out there about league officials, working with referees to fix games. We don't know if any of that's happening or not. This is just speculation on our part, but it could very well be happening, and maybe he wants to keep those skeletons in his closet.
Quiet. He's so quiet. It doesn't matter how much you insult him or do this and that. He's a steady Eddie. And we have like 3 Eddies in our fucking league, and none of them are that steady.
Yeah, and he did mention he was pumped up for Fuck Off Friday, and then did not, continue with the fuck off. So
it didn't seem like he said a fucking word about it.
Yeah, just.
But then you say it doesn't matter.
But then the other part of it is if he comes in last, then he just remains commissioner. So then it's sort of like poetic justice.
It's like as much, and his logo sucks. It's so stupid. Come on, his logo, but like this or that, it all sucks, and he just stays the same way. I don't get it.
I mean,
but he's not even in Portland anymore. He's like he's what, an hour outside of Portland.
Well, this is what we're talking about with. I mean, the Adidas reverse retro jerseys just came out. This is an opportunity to rebrand, to refresh your brand image, and maybe Portland Rivercats just needs a reverse retro logo, something a little bit more fresh and updated with the times.
Reverse something, yeah. Jesus, pixels, for God's sakes. It's like, what is that from? Like, what is it? Is it from like the early 90s when computers were just getting started, like Mac computers and it's terrible.
I don't have the big version. I just have the small version. Big version. Yeah, you need a full high res.
And even,
Keyport Raiders came up, first year in the league, has a decent logo. A nice big K. Yeah. Looks very varsity-esque.
Okay job with things.
Queens Peens got in on the act. We got Sterling Slapshot's printing logo material,
right.
Which is
it seems
fantastic.
To be a problem with the Tragos.
I mean, it's just maybe the lack of the creative initiative to get out there and spend the hours and the time to come up with a logo.
Christ's sakes. Well, winter's coming.
And winter might be coming for Rivercats, currently sitting in 12th place in the league, hoping to get a win this week, but definitely needing a new logo.
They need to be.
Yeah, could be. And if he does end up last and we do make him commissioner again, it all falls into place as it should be. But that's going to do it for episode 1 of the THHL recap. This has been Lake Mohawk Moose, if you want to.
Oh, it's been fantastic. I wish I could talk more and you guys could listen to our garbage, but let's cut it off here. It's been good and very enjoyable. I had a great time, and
the draft was very nice. I had a good time laughing with all you guys.
Yeah.
About Vasilevsky going 7th, and some of the picks that were made.
Yep.
But yeah, that'll do it for Week 1 THHL recap, and we will see you next week for Fuck Off Friday.
Yeah.